Well, she began investing as a teenager, and now Lesley-Anne Scorgie is making a living teaching Canadians of all ages how to save and spend wisely. Her latest book is out, and it's called The Modern Couple's Money Guide, and she's joining me now to explain how you can have love and money and live happily ever after. Really?
Yes,
it's possible?
It is absolutely possible. Spenders can live with savers. We can actually have good conversations and not freak each other out. In fact, in your first 3 dates, if you're dating somebody, you can in fact ask them whether or not they're a spender or a saver. You just have to softball it so they don't go running for the hills.
Why are you focusing on couples now?
So the leading cause of separation and divorce in North America has to do with money matters in the home. How we make it, how we spend it, how we save it, how we give it. And when it comes to money matters, how we spend our money is actually a reflection of our deeply rooted value system. So it's no wonder if you're living with a spender, and you're a saver, you might actually find their spending habits to be quite troubling, very deeply troubling. This is what causes the separation and divorce to ultimately happen, because if you're not on the same financial page, you're going in different directions.
So how can you live harmoniously then if you are a spender who is with a saver?
So the first item is to actually sit down and no finger pointing, no name calling.
No judging.
No judging, but to open up the transparent conversation. So what do you owe? What do you own? Everybody has to put everything on the table, including those secret accounts. And it's not just women that have them. Men and women have secret accounts. We need to know exactly where the money is coming from and going towards. Then you have the fun part of the conversation, which is where do we want to go in the next 5 years? Theoretically, you should be, telegraphing somewhere into the future where you're talking about houses, maybe children, vacations. That's the fun stuff. If you can't get on the same page about the fun stuff, it's going to be hard to get on the same page about your entire life. Once you're on the same page, then you implement what we call just basic financial strategies to get there. So how do we save our money? What amount of money needs to be transferred on payday into our savings account? If you're paying for a mortgage, do we want to do a double up or do we want to go to Mexico? These are big conversations, but they should be fun.
Is there any point at which, when you're in those early stages of a relationship and you see what that person's spending habits are, whether they're spenders or savers, that you might want to bail? Are there red flags?
Absolutely. If you are dating somebody and you find out that they're driving a really nice, let's say they're driving a Range Rover, but they're only making $55,000 or $60,000 a year, those two things don't really work together. So either they're, making meth in their basement, or they're doing something else, which is more than likely taking on copious amounts of debt. That's a bad habit. Yes, you can get around it, but the question is, do you want to take it on? Do you need a project? Or do you want to find somebody that's a little bit more financially aligned, which then reflects your value system?
And I know you're out on tour with this book and you're talking to people, and I'm just guessing that one of the questions is, what do you think about separate bank accounts? What's your view?
So I actually think they work very well as long as you have an agreed upon budget. I don't think it matters. I've seen success in both separate and joint. I will say though, when children come along in a relationship, it's often easier to put the money together just for shared expenses, but either can work.
Okay. What's your next book going to be about?
I'm not sure. Maybe, I've been thinking about doing one on resets, because a lot of couples do break up, and then what do you do afterward? How do you restart?
If it didn't work out and they didn't take the advice from this book,
yeah,
there's a follow-up.
Repeat.
Lesley-Anne, thanks so much.
Thanks
Glad
for
you could be
having me.
with us today.